So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't have much time to introduce new tools or habits into my routine, into my life to work with my nervous system, utilizing sound healing is something you can do while you're doing other things throughout your day or your night, and you don't really have to be doing much. You're just allowing it to happen. Welcome to Ebbs and Flows with Erin. In this show, we're getting real about navigating the ups and downs of life together. I'm your host, Erin, and we're ditching the pressure to have it all figured out along the way because honestly, nobody does. We'll explore all things healing, growing, creating, and connecting. And if you deal with anxiety, depression, being a highly sensitive person, or just feeling overwhelmed by life sometimes, I see you, and this show is for you. My intention with these conversations is simple: to leave you feeling empowered, validated, and most importantly, reminded that you are never alone, no matter where you're at on your own journey. Learning that we all have the power to heal genuinely changed my life. And the best part, healing does not have to be complicated. The smallest changes really can make the biggest impact, and it can be joyful, fulfilling, and something that we do together. So join me in getting real about what it means to heal. Thank you for being here, and now let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to Ebbs and Flows with Erin, or welcome back to Ebbs and Flows with Erin. I am your host, Erin, and whether you're listening or watching today over on YouTube, I am, as always, grateful to have you here with me today as we continue our nervous system regulation series. This is the third episode of the series. Our last episode was all about energy healing and how energy correlates to your nervous system, why it matters. And I hope you enjoyed that episode. Today, we are diving into the world of sound healing. We're going to explore what sound healing is, how it affects the nervous system, and most importantly, offer simple ways that you can integrate sound healing into your daily routines because it does not have to be complicated. And this is a tool that works without having to do much other than listen, receive, and allow the healing to take place. So I'm really excited to share about this tool, especially because it's been such a ginormous part of my own healing journey. I've shared before when I experienced my full physiological breakdown and was in my darkest times of anxiety and depression, I utilized sound healing and listened to healing frequencies, which we will get into more specifically what I mean by healing frequencies soon. I listened to those while I was driving to and from work, while I was sleeping, while I was getting ready for the day, while I was going on walks. I was utilizing healing frequencies as much as I possibly could. I started going to sound baths, which I am obsessed with. I love going to sound baths. I will often just look up sound baths happening near me and I will attend them by myself. And some people will say, what the heck is that? It sounds like you need to be in a bath of water, and it has nothing to do with being in water. You are being literally bathed by the vibrations of the sound. The sound healer is using different instruments and tools to create different sounds that emit different frequencies that correlate to healing different organs, tissues, emotional blockages in your body. They are a beautiful experience. But you don't necessarily have to go to one in person. There are so many resources online that are free that offer playlists or sound baths, or you can use your own voice to practice sound healing. So we're going to get into all of the tools as to how you can practice sound healing in a little bit, but first I want to talk about what is sound healing. Sound healing is the intentional use of sound to support your mind, your spirit, and your body. It can include anything from crystal bowls, tuning forks, singing, humming, chanting, drumming, listening to solfeggio frequencies or binaural beats, listening to the sounds of nature. There are many ways to utilize sound healing. And why does this matter? Well, because our body is made up of energy and water, and both are deeply affected by vibration. Everything carries a vibration, our bodies, our organs, our tissues, everything around us. Vibration is the key word when it comes to sound healing because all sound is made up of vibrations. All sounds are created by the waves that are produced by the vibrations of the material items creating the sound. So even if you clap your hands together, the sound that you're hearing is made up of the vibrations created when your hands clap together. And these vibrations are transmitted through the air, and when they reach our ears, they're converted to electrical impulses in our brain, which we interpret as sound. And it's these specific frequencies that sound healers often use in sessions to help balance the mind, body, and spirit. So all sound carries frequency, and frequency influences how we feel. And specific frequencies can be used to help optimize the body's organs, as well as to elicit certain brain waves and emotional states. And this is another thing that people can tend to think is woo-woo or new age, but it really is the opposite. Sound healing has been used since ancient times. Healing with sound has existed for thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians used musical incantations to help heal people when they were sick. Ancient Indian text contains chants recited in specific harmonies or rhythms. Greek physicians used musical instruments to heal patients, using the power of vibration to promote healthy digestion, sleep, and emotional regulation. And when it comes to the tools to regulate our nervous system, a lot of these are being reintroduced to us, but most of them go back to ancient times. When you think of what people did in ancient times to relax or restore or to have fun, they were chanting, dancing, singing, doing these things that we now are talking about to help us regulate our nervous system that we got so far away from, but are now coming back to, realizing the importance and the power that we have in these practices. So how does sound affect your nervous system? Well, the nervous system responds to vibration of sound. Certain sounds can signal safety to the body, guiding us out of fight or flight and into rest and digest. And sound can help shift our brain waves into calmer states like delta, theta, or alpha. I want to go over briefly what the different brainwave states are. So when you're in delta brainwave state, this is when sleeping is happening, your deepest sleeping, where you are not dreaming, and it's associated with 1 to 3 hertz frequency. When you're in theta brainwave state, this is where creativity, deep relaxation, meditation, and REM sleep are happening. This is anywhere from 4 to 7 hertz frequency. When you are in alpha brainwave state, this is where you are relaxed and passive, and it is between the beta and theta brainwave states, and this is anywhere from 8 to 12 hertz frequencies. And then beta brainwave state is happening when you are experiencing increased focus and problem solving, and it's anywhere from 13 to 38 hertz frequency. And if you find yourself stuck in a fight or flight state, you're stuck in a stressed, anxious, tense state, you're often stuck in the beta brainwave state. And beta waves are what most of us experience throughout our day-to-day, especially in our always-on, overstimulated society. They allow us to concentrate on the tasks at hand, but the downside of beta waves are, like I just mentioned, and they can drain our energy and reduce our emotional awareness and clarity. And then there's also the gamma brainwave state, which is experienced far less often, where you are in the peak mental state and even an alternate state of consciousness. You might be considered to be in a higher IQ and have higher intelligence than the average person if you're someone who accesses gamma brainwave states. Many experienced meditators can enter gamma brainwave states while they're meditating, but it is for very brief periods of time. It's not common to be in the gamma brainwave state, so it's not as often talked about when we're talking about brainwaves. But in a little bit, we're going to get into why understanding these brainwave states, at least generally, matters. So most importantly here, when it comes to sound and our nervous system, you want to know that sound helps to release energy and emotion from your body. The energy and the emotion that we talk about, where it gets layered into our body and stuck inside of us, and this is where we come up with experiencing illnesses and pain and discomfort, and we need to get it flowing. We need it to release from our body in order to experience healing of our body or our mind. This is what sound healing can help with. Like I said, certain sound waves can encourage our brain to elicit certain brain waves that can help us feel relaxed, alert, focused, and even enter a meditative state. And when our brain is relaxed and balanced, this is when we can enter the parasympathetic nervous system state, the state that we have to be in to help our body's organs and tissues rest heal, and regenerate. And many trauma healing modalities incorporate rhythm and vibration for this reason. Benefits of sound healing can include reduced anxiety, better sleep, emotional release, increased presence and grounding, decreased physical pain. Basically, if you feel dysregulated in any sense, utilizing sound healing could be a gentle tool to help shift you into the parasympathetic rest and digest state you have to be in order for your energy to balance, your nervous system to regulate, for your body and mind to heal. So let's get into some simple ways that you can use sound healing. And I want to emphasize that you do not need any prior knowledge to start today. You don't need any special tools. These are all things that are accessible to you right now. So the first tool I want to talk about is using your own voice. You can hum, you can chant, you can sing, and this is activating the vagus nerve and helping to regulate your nervous system because, as we learned in the first episode of this series, the vagus nerve is what needs to be stimulated to activate your parasympathetic rest and digest state, the state that you have to be in for any healing or growth to take place. And the best part about this is that you always have access to your voice at zero cost with minimal effort. So you can simply hum along to whatever music you're listening to, sing along to whatever music you're listening to. You can hum while you're brushing your teeth. You can hum while you're driving to work. You can hum while you're washing the dishes. And you can also go deeper with it and you can chant or hum certain mantras. So if you've ever done one of my guided meditations that's available wherever you're listening or watching this right now, I always start off with doing some deep breathing and on the exhale, chanting Om. And Om is specifically correlated to your third eye chakra, which is responsible for your intuition. So it sounds like this. Om. Simple as that. There are specific mantras for each chakra that correlate with the vibration of each energy center and the organs and emotions that it is responsible for. But for the sake of keeping this an easy to do tool, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can choose one thing like Om or Ah, or just humming in general. Singing, no matter what you sound like, you might sound terrible, but there's a reason that it feels so good to sing in the shower or sing in the car. So I encourage you to let yourself do that. No one needs to hear it. Or maybe they do. Either way, it is literally helping you to heal when you are utilizing your voice in these ways. It doesn't have to be complicated, but using your voice as a form of energetic release and regulation is an extremely underrated tool for healing and for nervous system regulation especially. So something simple you can introduce is, like I said, start with humming while you brush your teeth, or humming while you wash your dishes or put your dishes away after dinner. We love habit stacking because then it doesn't feel so overwhelming to introduce some of these new tools or habits into your life when you can do them while you're already doing something that you would be doing anyways. The next tool is listening to healing frequencies. So exploring solfeggio frequencies, for example, 396 hertz or 528 hertz. Those are two really popular ones you may have heard of before. 396 is good for releasing fear and guilt. 528 is known as the transformation DNA healing frequency. These are both really good to listen to if you're dealing with anxiety or depression. There are several healing frequencies that are all available for free on YouTube or on whatever platform you listen to your music on. And there are different frequencies specific to whatever it is that you are feeling blocked by, or that you are wanting to release, or that you are wanting to stimulate. There are healing frequencies for pretty much anything that you are dealing with. And this is something that I have utilized now for years, starting with when I had my full physiological breakdown and I was in my darkest place with anxiety and depression. I was listening to healing frequencies almost 24/7 for a span of many, many, many days. And then since then, I listen to healing frequencies every night while I sleep, depending on if I'm going through a tough time or whatever I'm experiencing. Sometimes I will listen to them while I am driving, or while I'm in the car, or while I'm on a walk. but for sure every single night and whenever I'm meditating. And again, if you've ever done one of my meditations, I always use a specific healing frequency as the background music of my meditation. And in the description, I will always specify which healing frequency is playing in the meditation. And aside from solfeggio frequencies, binaural beats. And binaural beats are what specifically really helped me in the depths of dealing with anxiety and depression and allowing myself to shift out of that fight or flight fear state was binaural beats. And binaural beats specifically activate certain brain waves and are said to strengthen certain brain waves. And binaural beats work by having two different tones or frequencies playing in each ear. So you want to listen to binaural beats ideally with headphones, but there are two different tones playing at the same time, and your brain interprets the two tones as a beat of its own. The two tones align with your brain waves to produce a beat with a different frequency, and this frequency is the difference in hertz between the frequency of the two tones, if that makes sense. And like I said, when you listen to certain binaural beats, they can increase the strength of certain brain waves, and this can increase or hold back different brain functions that control thinking and feeling. So depending on which binaural beats you're listening to, which frequencies are being used, it can help to stimulate you into the alpha, the beta, the delta brainwave state and to strengthen that state. And you can go even more specific, where if you're looking for anxiety relief, there's specific binaural beats for that. If you're looking for increased focus, maybe you're studying for something or you're wanting to focus on something for work, there are specific binaural beats for that. Maybe you are wanting to move through anger, there's specific binaural beats for that. Maybe you're wanting to increase joy, there's binaural beats for that. This is another tool where there are so many free resources online between YouTube or wherever you listen to your music. There are different playlists of different binaural beats, and I have loved using healing frequencies for the reason that I mentioned before, that you don't really have to be doing anything. You just need to listen and allow the healing or the shift to happen. So you can be doing anything while listening to these frequencies. Ideally, you want to be in a relaxed state while you're listening to them, but maybe you're dealing with heightened anxiety and you are at work or you're on an airplane. That's another thing. Whenever I'm flying, I have healing frequency or binaural beats playlists downloaded so that I can listen to them on the plane if anxiety comes up for me. But yeah, you can listen to these at any times and they are doing the work for you. It's not a tool that you have to work hard at for it to work. You just have to let it happen. Like I said, there was a point in time where I was listening to these all night while I slept, all throughout my morning routine in the morning. When I was going into office, I'd listen to them on my drive into work. I would listen to them at certain times throughout my day at work, on my drive home, during my routine to get ready for bed, again throughout that next night. And maybe it didn't completely alter the state that I was living in immediately, but it definitely helped. And at times, I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have healing frequencies to play and to listen to. And you do not have to go that hard with it. It does not have to be something that you're listening to that much. That was just the height of my struggles and the height of me learning about these holistic tools for healing from anxiety, depression, bettering my mental health. But even now, when I'm not exactly struggling with anything, I still make sure that I'm playing these either while I'm sleeping or while I'm journaling or while I'm meditating. And it's just something that, again, does not take a lot of effort. They can't hurt to do, but can definitely help. The next tool is to utilize singing bowls or gongs or sound baths. So even short sessions can help shift your state. Many sound baths are available online on YouTube. There are many sound healers who will live stream their sound baths or just upload their sound baths to YouTube for you to listen to, or you can explore your local events. I absolutely love attending in-person sound baths. It just is that next level of literally feeling the vibration of the instruments playing in that room. And there has never been a time where I didn't walk out of a 1-hour sound bath session feeling completely renewed and restored. Every single time, no matter what state I went into it being in, I always leave feeling restored and renewed, and I always sleep very well that night. And it is also important to note that the experience can be different for everybody. Certain vibrations or certain sounds can register different in one person's body to the other person's body. It might not be for everyone, but this is my experience. And I think it's a really beautiful opportunity because how often do you get to set aside an hour for yourself to literally lay down, have nothing to do, no responsibilities, and you're just being bathed by healing sound, healing vibration, an hour of relaxation for yourself. I literally bring my yoga mat, I bring a blanket, I bring an eye mask, a pillow, and I am living my best life. I've also done one in a hammock. It was a hammock sound bath. So we went to one of the dance studios that had those hammocks that dancers dance in, but we just hung in the hammock while the sound bath happened, and that was next level. Or you can even get your own tools, and it doesn't have to be a whole big set of sound healing crystal bowls and all the tools. I personally have one singing bowl that I like to play, and you can get them in different frequencies. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a long session for it to shift your state. I keep mine on my altar where I keep all my crystals, and I will play it either at night or whenever I feel like I need a little reset of my energy. And they are pretty inexpensive. They can get expensive, especially the crystal bowls. It is a goal for me to get a set of crystal healing bowls. I would love to be able to introduce sound healing more into my offerings and be able to do my own sound baths, but it is definitely an investment. But for now, I have my Tibetan singing bowl, and I love her. The gong is always really lovely. There are different tools like flutes or rain sound tools. I'm forgetting what those are called. It's not just the bowls. There are many different instruments that sound healers use, and they are all available to buy on your own. That is a goal of mine, to build up my collection of sound healing tools, or just using traditional instruments. Again, the healing of sound is all vibration. Playing my guitar always puts me into a meditative, relaxed state. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be super long sessions. Any instrument you have or that you want to play is going to help shift you into that parasympathetic rest and digest state and to regulate your nervous system. The next sound healing tool is the sounds of nature. So think of sleep sounds or sleep machines. Often they will play sounds of nature like birds chirping or water sounds or the sounds of wind. This is for a reason. It's because the sounds of nature are deeply calming and grounding. There is science behind the fact that when we are listening to the sounds of birds chirping and the sounds of nature, our nervous system naturally shifts into the rest and digest state, and we are naturally relieving tension and stress and anxiety. So especially if you live somewhere or it is just not accessible for you to get outside when you are needing grounding, listening to the sounds of nature is a great way to still get the healing benefits of being in nature without actually being in nature. Again, so many of these are available for free online between YouTube and wherever you listen to your music. I know for myself, there is quite literally nothing that makes me feel more alive than being by the ocean and just listening to the sounds of the ocean waves and the wind and the birds. There is literally nothing better than that. The final tool I want to talk about for today is rhythm and drumming. So repetitive rhythm can calm a hyperactive mind and support emotional release. So trying things like listening to a drumming playlist or just tapping your hands or feet rhythmically as if you are drumming on a drum. This is also a reason where if you've ever found yourself or someone else maybe is feeling nervous or anxious or on edge and they start to tap their hands or their feet, it's like a nervous tick, but it's a way of trying to regulate themselves and calm themselves. One of my favorite tools for a sound bath to experience is the hand drum. When someone is using the hand drum above your body, the vibration of that is so grounding to me. And that's another thing that you are able to buy yourself if you're interested. But again, you don't need a tool for this. You can use your hands and your feet or a free playlist online. Okay, so I want to offer a few tips for using sound healing intentionally to get the most out of utilizing sound for healing. So number one, set an intention before you listen or create sound. So what do you want to get out of listening to or experiencing this sound healing? Maybe it's my intention is to release all stress and anxiety from my body. Or maybe your intention is to allow your creativity to flow. Make it something simple, something that you can come back to remind yourself of why you are doing this. The next tip is to listen to sound healing or engage in sound healing in a calm space or environment. This is ideal, but realistically, sometimes life is noisy. Sometimes there are things going on around you that you can't escape or get away from, and we can't always depend on having a completely quiet, calm environment to take care of our nervous system, because you might just end up not doing it at all. And it's okay. Set the intention if there is noise happening around you or distractions happening around you. Maybe setting the intention that whenever you hear a noise or a distraction, that is setting you into deeper relaxation, or that is setting you into deeper focus. Just reframing what that distraction or noise means to you. Okay, the next step is to trust your body. If you're listening to a certain sound or frequency and it doesn't feel good, skip it. That's okay. What feels good to someone else might not feel good to you, and that's okay. Next tip is to make it a part of your routine. Again, this is something that you can habit stack. You can practice while you're doing something else that you're already doing in your routine, whether you are humming while you're brushing your teeth, or playing healing frequencies while you are getting ready in the morning, or while you're driving to work, or during a rest break during your day. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be this huge shift or this new overwhelming habit that you're trying to create. It's something that doesn't take a lot of effort, that you can practice while you're doing something else. And finally, know that sound healing is not about reaching perfection or reaching a certain state. It's about presence. It's about the intention to create space in your body and your mind for your nervous system to regulate and to shift into the rest and digest state more accessibly that you need to be in to allow healing and growth to happen in your mind and your body. You might try one sound healing tool we talked about today and it doesn't really resonate with you. That's okay. Or maybe it resonates with you on certain days or for a certain while, and then it's not really doing it for you anymore. That's okay. You can try out whatever tools you want to try out for as long as you want to try them out. Take what feels good and what works for you. Leave what doesn't. Know that it's allowed to change, and you can't go wrong. You can't harm yourself by practicing sound healing. Even if something triggers you or something comes up or something doesn't feel good, that's okay. Just note that and skip it. And it's okay if something that works for others doesn't work for you. So a quick little recap before we end off this episode. Sound healing is ancient. It has been practiced for thousands and thousands of years. It is accessible and it is powerful. And it does not have to be complicated. Even a few minutes of sound healing can shift your state and regulate your nervous system, whether it's through listening to sound, listening to frequencies, or using your own voice through humming, singing, chanting. This is something you don't have to practice for a long period of time for it to make an impact on your state. And I also quickly want to note that this is why the music that you listen to matters. Not that you can never listen to sad music or angry music, emo music, but once you understand how frequencies can impact your state physically, mentally, and emotionally, it can help you to just be aware of the music that you're listening to. And it's not that you can't listen to certain types of music. It might just be a reason for you to feel inclined to practice sound healing to help regulate your system if you are choosing to listen to quote unquote lower vibration music. And that's kind of a whole other topic to talk about, because even outside of frequencies, the lyrics of music, the frequencies being used in music, especially mainstream music, they are impacting us in a deeper way than we know. And I personally love to listen to sad music sometimes, and I used to send myself into a hole of sadness and depression by listening to sad music when I was already feeling sad, and then wondering, why do I feel this way and why can't I get out of it? And that's okay. I still listen to it when I feel like it. But again, just having the awareness that it actually does affect your mental well-being and your emotional well-being, and having the knowledge that there are these tools that you can use to help regulate yourself to come out of that state. Awareness is the key. Not saying this to fearmonger anyone out of listening to certain music, but it is just a fact that the music you're listening to does impact you directly. This is why music is such a powerful tool and why people feel so deeply connected to music, because it does genuinely change the way that we feel and we think. and we are impacted by not only the lyrics, but the vibration and the frequency of the music. And especially if you're a highly sensitive person like myself, you likely listen to music and you feel it in your bones. You feel chills when you listen to certain music. You, like everything else in life, feel it very deeply. Anyways, that was a little bit of a tangent. We love all music here. All music is welcome, but just important to know that it does affect you more than you might think. Okay, thank you for listening to today's episode 3 of this nervous system regulation series. I hope you guys are finding value in this series, and I look forward to continuing it. I will link below, as always, some resources. I always have my bi-weekly guided meditations that utilize healing frequencies, as well as Reiki, as well as chakra energy cleansing and balancing and visualization that come out with every full moon and new moon. If you're interested in those, they're available wherever you're listening to or watching this now. I have my distance Reiki booking link always linked below. All of my offerings and ways to connect with me are always in the show description below. There are still several episodes that will be coming out in this nervous system regulation series, exploring tools for nervous system regulation, which have all genuinely changed my life and my health and wellness for the better. So thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I hope that you are able to find power in sound healing through the tools we talked about today. I'm sending a lot of love and gratitude. I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.